Right now on the Fox 5 News at 10, President Trump makes a trip to Calexico today. He talks San Diego and his threat to shut down the border while meeting with Border Patrol agents. Two fires at the same warehouse just 6 months apart. Tonight, we're learning one of them was intentionally set. And a violent crash as an out-of-control sports car slams into a fire hydrant and parked cars. The Fox 5 News at 10 starts right now.
Live from San Diego, this is the Fox 5 News at 10.
We're going to shut it down if we have to. We're going to tariff the cars coming in that they make in Mexico if we have to. But Mexico's been doing a great job.
Hours ago, President Trump was in Calexico visiting the first section of the promised border wall. Before that, he had a roundtable discussion with Border Patrol agents and other officials. Fox 5's Kristen Shanahan joins us live around the table with more on what was said today. Kristen.
Well, Border Patrol agents told the president today that the wall is working, and at one point, he made a very strong statement towards migrants heading to the U.S. border.
This is our new statement. The system is full. Can't take you anymore. Whether it's asylum, whether it's anything you want, it's illegal immigration, can't take you anymore.
President Donald Trump continues to reiterate what's happening at the U.S.-Mexico border is a national emergency.
If you look at our southern border, the number of people and the amount of drugs, human trafficking. The human trafficking is something that nobody used to talk about. I talk about it. It's a terrible thing. It's ancient, and it's never been bigger than it is modern right now.
Before visiting a 2.25-mile stretch of the newly built border wall in Calexico, President Trump heard from Border Patrol agents at the El Centro sector.
That border wall was constructed in 8 months, from February to October. As soon as it was completed, we started measuring and we started monitoring its effectiveness. So for the first quarter of FY19, we have had many efficiencies noted. For example, illegal entries in general, they decreased by 75%.
Calexico's Border Patrol chief says border agents need the border wall.
In this case for us, it's 30 feet high. That's what we asked for, and that's what was provided. So thank you on behalf of the Border Patrol here for allowing us to have that. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
The president was thanked with not only a handshake, but agents also thanked him by giving him a piece of the new border wall.
It's a heavy piece of wall.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The commanding general of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says so far, just over 80 miles of the updated barrier has been built. And by the end of 2020, he says about 450 miles of wall should be complete.
What we've done and what we're doing, you're going to see some very, very strong results.
And during his trip today, he made mention of San Diego and said, quote, "They're begging me for the wall in San Diego." And Kathleen, after he left El Centro, he flew to Beverly Hills for a fundraiser.
There are also reports that he was going to a Trump property up in, I think it's Palos Verdes. So
that's right.
We'll continue to try and confirm that. Thank you so much. Some drove hundreds of miles to be in Calexico today for the president's arrival to the border. Some were there to show their support, others to protest his policies. Fox 5's Jeff McAdam continues our team coverage.
Just be wonderful to be able to see him. He's done so much for our country.
I'll be relieved he made it.
Karen Kelly and her husband Malcolm drove 3 hours for this moment. If you look closely, you can see what's likely the president's hand waving to the crowd.
It's a rare occasion when a president drops into the Imperial Valley.
The motorcade eventually leaving for the wall, driving through city streets where other supporters waited with flags in hand.
We just came to support Trump. I mean, he's putting in the effort. He's traveling all the way across country to a place where there's a pretty hot reception for him. So we're just going to meet him halfway.
Better conditions for the people who live in the United States.
But earlier in the day, the protesters came together. Gathering in Calexico just north of the border, they made signs, made shirts, and made their way down city streets. Heading toward the newly constructed portion of the border wall.
They want to focus on other things that actually affect a border town, which is low employment rate, the river being polluted. They want the president to focus on that.
We have a 27.5 unemployment rate.
Protesters like Cristina Torres say money being spent on the wall should be going elsewhere, standing below a 20-foot inflatable Trump balloon Ruben DeLauro says the president wants things his way.
I think it's telling people that he's a crybaby.
DeLauro says the president's talk at one point of closing down the border would be a huge mistake.
Let me tell you, it's going to have a great impact on labor. A lot of the people that work in the fields come from this side.
And no matter how you come out on this issue, people on both sides say they were just happy to see the president here in town, hopefully getting a firsthand look at the issues, talking to the people it impacts most. Reporting from Calexico, Jeff McAdam, Fox 5 News.
We brought you President Trump's border wall visit live on the Fox 5 News at 1, as well as on the Fox 5 app, and that you can always have with you. Be sure to download it for the latest developments on the border wall and all the day's breaking news stories. Phil.
All right, Kathleen, we have some news now from the North County. Sheriff's deputies are searching for a man who stabbed his father tonight in Encinitas. Now, it happened in the 1100 block of Saxony Road. Investigators say the men were involved in some sort of dispute which led to this incident. The victim was treated at a hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. We're told by authorities that the son is an active parolee. Kathleen.
All right, thank you, Phil. A Kearney Mesa warehouse catches fire twice, leading to a very serious investigation. Federal investigators are officially ruling the second fire in 6 months at a Kearney Mesa off-roading warehouse arson. Our Kasha Gregorczyk is live outside the building with more on what's next. Kasha.
Well, Kathleen, from here, a criminal investigation begins. As you can see, a fence was put around the property today, and it was actually handed back over to the owner, though he says business will not be reopening here at this location.
This is a terrible, terrible incident.
Okay, we're going to bring that truck down the Bravo side.
It's the second fire for off-road warehouse in Kearney Mesa within 6 months. And this time, investigators believe it was intentional.
Not surprising. I absolutely suspected arson.
The first fire happened back in November, causing significant damage to an upstairs office. Late March, a second blaze scorched the building, a total loss with damage estimated at more than $3 million.
It's a sad situation, it really is, for a lot of people. You know, a lot of the Jeepers here, had a lot of money invested in these vehicles, and, I just hope that they are able to recover those costs.
Tony Steinberg had his Jeep at the warehouse during both fires and was just able to get it back Friday as it was parked on the property during the investigation. Other car owners who had their vehicles inside the shop weren't as lucky.
12 vehicles that burned to the ground.
Neighboring businesses also felt the effects of the ongoing investigation.
It's been a little difficult, obviously we can't conduct any business because they shut down the driveway.
But as of Friday, everyone was back open for business and work was underway to secure the heavily damaged warehouse. And the owner tells me 16 employees who were working here have now been placed at other warehouse locations while he searches for a new location to reopen, hopefully somewhere here in Kearney Mesa. Reporting live from Kearney Mesa tonight, Kasha Gregorczyk, Fox 5 News.
Kasha, thank you. The man who was shot and killed by a San Diego police officer in San Ysidro has been identified. Police say 50-year-old Alfonso Cervantes was walking around an RV park that he lived in with his family, firing shots on Wednesday. Several people called 911, saying Cervantes was pointing the gun at them. When officers arrived, they told him to drop the weapon, but instead he raised it in their direction. He was shot by a San Diego police officer who has not been named. Hanging on the edge of disaster, a woman finds herself trapped in her SUV, dangling off the side of a parking garage. Plus, a speeding car hits a fire hydrant and several parking meters in the process in Beverly Hills. The chaotic moments coming up. And 2 people rescued after a power pole came crashing down on an SUV.
And some drizzle and light rain lingered today. Even more is on the way when it's expected to wrap up. That's next.
You're watching the Fox 5 News at 10.